Hi, I'm Darlene.
I'm Gene.
We're the Roaming Retirees, and today we're going to be visiting Hiroshima, Japan.
And when you think of Hiroshima, you automatically go to the atom bomb was dropped there. But actually, there's so much more to that city than just that.
Absolutely. So let's just dive in and go explore Hiroshima. So when we got into Hiroshima, we had only allotted for 3 days on our trip. And in hindsight, I think we would have needed more days.
Yeah, definitely could have used more time.
Yeah, because when we were booking our trip and planning our trip, this was something that we knew we wanted to see Hiroshima pretty much for the A-bomb. We didn't realize all the things that were there to see. But in looking at it now, I would have definitely stayed a minimum of 5 or 6 days because there was a lot to see and do there. But we happened to, book our hotel. It was right hooked to the train station called the Grand Via. And man, that was great. It was a beautiful hotel.
Yeah, that was a really nice hotel.
Really nice breakfasts every morning, and just really clean, and the convenience. I mean, we just walked out of our hotel. You didn't even have to walk out of the hotel. There was actually an indoor route to get you around the corner to the train station because it was all part of the train station.
Yeah.
So that was convenient.
The buses were right out front and there is one bus, that tourist bus, where you can buy to get on the bus, and it lets you actions along
so you
there.
just buy a 1-day pass or whatever you need. And us, it was just a day pass thing, and you could get on. And the bus stops at various points throughout the city, and it's always near major attractions. So we found that to be really convenient. We used that.
Yes.
And it was really, really nice to have that right outside the door of the hotel. So anyway, the first site we went to see on our very first day was the A-bomb dome. It's left exactly how it was the day the bomb dropped in 1945. So that was, oh boy, that was really to stand there and kind of absorb that and take that in. Definitely a piece of history that we wanted to see and experience.
Yeah.
And no matter how you look at it, war is ugly, and they have a peace memorial park there now that the whole Peace Memorial Park is geared around to never have an atomic bomb dropped again. So it's a hope of the people, of all people.
Yeah.
And they actually have a Korean memorial there, and it's in 49 languages. And they did things throughout the park that were for everybody. It wasn't just for the Japanese people. It was for everybody. They had a peace bell that anybody could ring, and just remembrance of all the people who died and anybody that fought in the war. So it was just it was a really beautiful park. I think.
And what was the one where we kind of down under the ground?
Oh, that was that museum, the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum. It kind of went down around under the ground, and it actually had this wall of tiles that were like little individual,
almost like mosaics.
Yeah. And there was 140,000 tiles representing the 140,000 people that were lost that day of the bombing. And the whole thing was just every way you went throughout the Peace Memorial Park, because the Peace Memorial Park had a lot of factors to it. It had a great big museum.
Which we didn't go to.
We didn't go into the museum because our time was so limited. And we knew that the museum going in there would take a few hours, so we just bypassed that the bigger museum. They did have a Children's Peace Monument, I think they called it. And that was in memory of, her name was Sadako Sasaki. And she was a girl that was really badly affected by the bomb, and for 10 years she suffered the consequences of the nuclear.
The radiation.
The radiation, yeah. And so she had committed to make, in her life, she had committed to making 1,000 origami cranes. And she reached her goal, and that was her way of expressing no more atomic bombs. And so they did a whole memorial to her, and it had like a big tall statue with her at the top with a bunch of cranes above her, and then a little boy and a little girl representing all the people. And then in glass cases around it, there's origami that's been sent from people from all over the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a big half wall of glass cases filled with origami cranes. And so that was just really beautiful. And then they had a prayer fountain, and they, you know, just even the Peace Memorial itself got this big saddle arch. And when you stand on the end, you know, there's flowers where people bring flowers for memorials. But then there's all names of every person lost is written in that arch. And then you look through it and there's a flame on the other side of the arch. The arch is kind of long, shadow. And then you look through it and there's a flame there. And then past the flame is this long body of water. And then when you get to the other side of the water, you can see from where you're standing, you can see the A-bomb dome. So that was quite... I just felt like it was such a tribute, you know, to their people who were lost that day. So, you know, that whole park experience to me, it was sobering but beautiful in the way that they just, their whole thing was to strive for peace in the world. And so that was...
Yeah, that's really what I got out of it.
Yeah, so the whole experience was just it was a sobering experience, but also a very beautiful experience.
Yeah.
And then it also, if you want to go to the Peace Memorial Museum, what did we pay? It was like 200 yen. So really in American US dollars, I think it's like $1.35 or $1.50. It's not very much to go in and see it. So. And the Children's Peace Monument was free. There was no charge for anything except for the big museum and then the Peace Memorial Museum.
Yeah.
And everything else was free. So you can just walk around because it's all outside. And then there was also, there's called a cenotaph for the Korean Memorial. And that was for, because they had a huge Korean population. And that was for the Korean victims. And so that was like 10 gates that was built. And I think they had that was the 49 languages they had, that the whole they longed for world peace, and that was written in 49 languages. So I mean it was just the whole experience being at that park.
Yeah. And I mean they had a lot of pictures of what the city looked like before.
Right.
And then it has a lot of pictures of what it looked like after it was just completely destroyed. And I mean, it's kind of heartbreaking and it's kind of amazing to see all at the same time.
It was. And then the whole thing, it runs along the Motoyasu River. And I'm probably not saying that right. I hope I'm not killing the name. But a big, beautiful river that runs right through kind of the heart of that memorial park. And so Jean and I, we walked along the river, and you know, they had like little benches you could sit around the fountains and the water pool and things like that. So it was quite nice actually.
Yeah, and very peaceful. And
very peaceful.
It's all set up to be just that. That's why they call it the Peace Park. But
and then the city is, you know, you'll be going along just like many cities that we saw in Japan. You'd be walking along, and there in the heart of modern city, there's like some old, you know, shrine that's there, or temple that's from the 1500s, you know. So you see that all over Japan, and there again, that was something that I'm kind of awed by it.
Yeah, that like you said, that was kind of everywhere in Japan.
Yeah.
It did have the castle there.
Yeah, there's a big castle. It's called the Hiroshima Castle. And that was built in 1590. Then it was destroyed by the A-bomb, and I think they rebuilt it again in 1958. And so that castle, you can go walk the grounds and see everything for free on the outside. And if you want to go into the building, I think it was 400 yen to go in. And I think that's like $2, so American dollars. So, you know, there's just so much to see and do in the city itself. Very beautiful city, very modern, lots of places to eat, lots of places to tour.
Yeah, we got there kind of late in the day when we headed out to go start seeing stuff. So
yeah, because we had taken the train.
Yeah, we'd come in on the train, so we didn't really get out until later in the day. So we were kind of pressed for time and didn't get a chance to see everything that we really would have liked to have seen.
Right.
And do that. But I mean, you do get to see it when you're riding on the buses. You could see the castle. It was kind of off. But being as we had already done a castle before,
we'd actually done like 3 castles. So, you know.
So I would have liked to have seen it, but just
our time.
Because of time and what the time we had.
We truthfully did not realize how much there was to see in Hiroshima when we booked the whole trip. And so therefore we kind of shorted ourselves by not doing more research, because when we got there we realized there was a lot more to see, and we had planned one day to really just kind of meander around town, and then the next day we're going to the Miyajima Island, and so that was a full day planned, and then the next day we had to catch a train to leave. So realistically, like we said in the earlier part of the video, 4 days, 5 days minimum. I mean, I would have done 5 or 6 days, truthfully, had I known all the things there was to see and do, and had I done a little bit more of my homework before we left. This was our first time really putting a trip together like this. We had never done like a month traveling by train and trying to pick out certain things you wanted to see and how much time we would take in each place. So, you know, we're learning as we go, trip together, and we'll continue to learn as we travel. But that was for sure, definitely, I mean, in my opinion, definitely worth the visit to Hiroshima. I would like to actually go back and see the rest of the things that we didn't get to see, you know. So that's on the to-do list. There's a big market there. There's just so much there. But anyway, and then our day 2, we went to Miyajima Island. That was really probably the highlight for me.
Yeah.
I love the nature. I love being out in nature. So for me, that was probably one of my favorite places to go.
Started out, you just catch the train.
Yeah.
Which was right there. You walk over to the train station, go from there, take the train out.
It was a JR line. Anyway, it was a JR line. It's a 30-minute train ride, and it was not far at all. And then you go catch the ferry.
Yeah, you get off the train, then you got to walk about 2-3 blocks maybe is all.
Yeah.
And then you go to the ferry terminal. You catch the ferry there. It's about 10, maybe 15-minute ferry ride. Yeah, 10-minute ferry ride. And then on the ferries and the trains, the 400 yen round trip for the ferry. And that's the time that we went. So, you know, we don't know when you're going to go or whatever, but we were there in March or early April. Early April. Early April, when we were there.
And so that was the cost. And then the train was the JR line, and that was the $2.69 US dollars. So we actually, that island, oh man, that was so pretty. Our first impression was just because there's that giant orange Torii Gate sitting out in the water.
Yeah, and you see it when you're coming in on the ferry.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
That's the first thing that sticks out to you, and then you head into the ferry terminal, and then once you get out of the ferry terminal, it's maybe 2 blocks, 3 blocks. Yeah. You kind of run into a little shopping shopping, food,
Yeah.
everything like that. Oh, and the little deer.
Yeah, and don't forget the little aggressive deer. There is some, okay, so unlike Nara, which was our next stop after Hiroshima, Nara had the little deer that you can actually feed. These deer, they do not want you feeding the deer. And the deer are pretty aggressive with the food. So if you have food, they're going to come and take it.
We saw people sitting there trying to eat their lunch on, I guess it's kind of a little park right by the seawall or whatever it is. And
the
no
deer,
little deer just jump right up there and take what they want.
Yeah, they were pretty aggressive. I mean, we watched the one deer jump right between a couple, and they had their food sitting there, and it jumped right up and took the food and took off with it. So it was like, oh, don't lay your food down around here because these deer will take the food. But yeah, they were really, it was kind of neat because they let you come right and pet them and talk to them, but they definitely were looking for like scraps, you know, whatever you have, they're taking.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, besides the deer, then we went down, we actually walked down onto the beach, and we saw the big Torii Gate there.
Right.
And that was out to in the water. At the time, they call it a floating Torii Gate because it appears to be floating. And it was out in the water because the tide was in, and we didn't really know we were going to be there as long as we were that day. So by the end of the day, when we come back, the tide had gone out, and here you could walk out to the Torii Gate. The tide was completely out, and it was just sand all the way out. So then at the end of the day, we walked out and got to hang out underneath the Torii Gate, you know?
Yeah.
And got our pictures and stuff under there. But
and then they had the, what is that? Is it a floating shrine?
Yeah, so it was the Itsukushima Shrine that we visited, and that's all built out over the water.
Yeah, so when
beautiful.
the tide's in, it looks like it's floating on the water.
Yeah, that was a beautiful shrine. To me, it was probably one of the prettiest. Like I said, this whole experience to me, this day was probably one of my favorite days. You know, it was just, the whole thing was like, for the senses, it was really like, for your eyes, it was really a visual, beautiful experience. The village that's there's like shopping, you know, it's kind of off to the one side of the walkway where there's a main walkway, and it has some Torii gates as you're going. So there was other Torii gates built up on the land before you got to that shrine. And boy, when we went through that was historical. It's known as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So beautiful, a lot of history there. And take your time to absorb all that's there, because there's like several buildings, you know, to tour while you're there. And then from there we headed over to the Ropeway. We actually walked down. There's like shopping and little places to eat and all kinds of stuff on both sides. And then we saw the sign that said Ropeway tickets, and so we bought Ropeway tickets, and then we went and we got into the line.
And that's what I really suggest is you buy your tickets ahead if you can.
Well, you have to really buy them ahead.
Yeah, before you actually get up to the Ropeway. You can buy them there, but I mean, there was a long line and everything.
It was over an hour line.
And I was really glad that we had our tickets in hand before we ever got up there. And it was a pretty good walk to get up there.
Right.
When I say pretty good walk, it might be, half a mile, something like that.
Yeah.
But it's going uphill because you are going up the mountain and stuff. But
it's a hike. I think they said it was 2 miles, the hike itself in Mount Misen, to go up Mount Misen.
Oh, well.
But anyway, it's quite the hike. So allow time, and it's quite steep. So we chose not to hike. We chose the Ropeway, and then we were surprised.
Oh, you're talking about going up there. I'm talking about just to get to where the Ropeway is.
Oh yeah,
going up.
That was about a half a mile, and
yeah.
it's kind of going uphill, you know, most of the way.
Yeah, but
not steep.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible, and
we got ice cream.
Yeah.
We made sure we got an ice cream. Anyway, everywhere we went through Japan, we got an ice cream. So that was kind of our thing. But anyway, so we did. We got on that ropeway though. That was a long wait for the ropeway. It was over an hour standing in this line, and then you're creeping, and it was kind of going up a pretty good size hill. And by the time we got to the ropeway, I was, like he said, I was really happy we had our tickets, because all these people were suddenly having to get in another line to buy their tickets, and then they'd lose their place in the line that they had, you know. So it's better to buy your tickets at the bottom. And then we got on that ropeway, and that takes you up to the top of Mount Misen. Mount Misen, the ropeway tickets were what, $13.50 US dollars, so about 2,000 yen. Yeah. And so the ropeway itself, it starts you off on one gondola that's larger, and we rode that gondola up to the first stop, and then when you get off that gondola, you get on a small little gondola, and then that one takes you up to the very top. Right. And then when we got off, that's the second and last stop. And when we got off that gondola, we kind of get off, and then you kind of walk around this corner, and then you all of a sudden are just opened up to this spectacular view. I mean, it is gorgeous. There's just 100 islands out there, water, ocean. It was just,
like you said, you really weren't expecting to see that when you got up there, but
it was beautiful.
But it was beautiful.
And there was giant boulders, and you know, just those big giant rocks, and I don't know, they had a viewing area where they had the little scope you could look through, and you could see all of, like, if you looked way off, you could see Hiroshima off in the distance, and it was really pretty up there. So that, we took our time. We walked around up there for a while and just enjoyed the views and kind of took all that in.
Yeah.
Before we had to. We spent all the whole day there, and on the island.
Yeah, I would say to go there, just plan on that being a day,
a full day,
a day trip.
And we didn't even get to see everything. My suggestion would be maybe even spending one night there, because there was a lot to see there, and there was a whole nother temple, an aquarium, another museum, and we didn't get to see any of that because it literally was starting to get late. They were going to close the ropeway. We were at the top, and they said they gave us the 30-minute bell, you know, that, and we had been up there a while, but I mean,
there was still a pretty good long line to get on the ropeway,
and then
even to go down, you know.
Yeah. So we just would recommend probably spending a night there on the island, because there's places you can.
And I don't remember if we were there on what would be a weekend, or
no, we were there on a weekday.
If it's always that busy, we're kind of
for us, we were just at the beginning of cherry blossom, and so I'd say it was probably busier because we were there at cherry blossom season. Yeah. And everybody in the world goes to Japan during cherry blossom, so it was quite,
you just have busy. To show a little patience and do that. But
I didn't find it to be to be a place to be impatient, though. It was just, everything was just really smooth. The only long line that we really had was going up that ropeway that day. Yeah. You know, I mean, every line was moving, and everything you did, it moved just fine. Just the ropeway line was very, very long, and everybody wanted to go see the top of the mountain.
Going up and going down.
Yeah, it was long.
There was a line
there was waiting.
So, yeah.
But anything that you wanted to do in that area, there was restaurants. We ate there and found a nice little cute restaurant and had dinner there. Anything you wanted to do there was all kinds of, like I said, shopping, souvenirs. And there was like another pagoda at the top. There, like a big hill, and there was another shrine and a pagoda. That was the Hokoku Shrine that I mentioned earlier. That one had a pagoda, a 5-tier pagoda, and stuff like that. So that's why I'm saying, I think spending a night there just to see it all, because we started early in the morning that day, and we spent the whole day there and didn't get to see it all. So anyway, that's my recommendation
Yeah.
for Hiroshima. But
Overall, I would say we spent basically 2 full days of being able to tour, and you could use
and a half,
more time than that.
Definitely.
Because
we only had 3 days, and half of it was
it's
settling
travel
into your
days,
hotel
and then you're packing up and you're traveling over to the train again. So you're really 2 days, I guess, is what you really had to go explore and do that in 2 or 2.5, whichever. But
definitely
just more time. I would allow a little more time, and
there's
make
a
sure you
couple
get
places that we visited that I would give more time to, but this is definitely one of them. So if you're going to Hiroshima, recommendation minimum 4 days. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, 4 days
minimum
at least.
Yeah, and I would say if you have more time, take more time, because Hiroshima was a really beautiful, fascinating, historical city.
Yeah.
So.
And you can really say that about everywhere in Japan.
Yeah, this was one of my favorite areas, though.
Yeah, but this one was really nice. I really enjoyed it.
So anyway, so that's all we've got on Hiroshima.
All right, hope you enjoy our video.
And if you like it, give us a like and share and subscribe. All right, talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.